Have you heard of the ketchup challenge? It's one of those things now that people are doing on the TikTok and online. And it goes something like this. Someone, usually a woman, pours a bunch of ketchup on a counter and asks someone else, usually a man, her husband, her boyfriend, her fiance, to clean it up. And the purpose of this challenge is to see how he will tackle the task. Is he going to nail it and clean it up incredibly well? Or is he gonna fail miserably? And naturally, because we live in the social media age, all of this is filmed, recorded, posted online so that the entire planet can see whether her man is a champ or a chump in cleaning up ketchup. So grab some French fries today as we're talking all things ketchup today on the Rommel Anacan Show. Hey, Glenn, let's get the orchestra going. Yes, and hello and welcome to the Rommel Anacan Show, the fastest growing show on relationships on the interwebs. Today, I don't have anything to back that claim up, so no ugly emails or DMs, please. I just figure I'm going to keep saying that until it's true. And even if this isn't the fastest growing show on relationships on the internet today, I can say that I do know how to clean ketchup from a kitchen counter. Just saying. Just saying. So, what is up with the ketchup challenge? So, back in December of 2023, a TikToker posted a video where she filmed her fiance struggling to clean some ketchup on the counter. And if you've watched this video, you know this, right? With every movement of his hand, he just seemed to make the problem worse and not better. In fact, the original poster of the video titled it something like this, like he stresses me out, which is why I do the cleaning. Now, clearly, this video touched a nerve and garnered attention. In fact, from what I have seen, the post has about 33 million views or so, and the hashtag ketchup challenge has over 150 million views or so. And then, if you watch any of these kind of ketchup challenge videos, you'll see comments ranging from anything from you need to leave him now to OMG with a bunch of different emojis on it to this is weaponized incompetence and everything in between. And on the surface, like, why are we chatting about this today? Like, on the surface, this seems like all in good fun, right? I mean, the couple seem to be smiling at the end, at least the ones where the guy in the video knows he's being recorded. So, what's the harm? What is the harm in dumping a bunch of ketchup on your counter and secretly filming your husband to see if he knows how to clean it? And especially if he doesn't know how to clean it, what's the harm in posting that video online so that thousands, potentially millions of people can see that your husband doesn't know how to clean a kitchen counter? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Yeah, I'm being facetious and a little sarcastic there. Why? Because a lot could actually go wrong. Here's why. I want you to hear me. And I'm going to sound like one of those guys that's like the curmudgeon about everything on the TikTok and socials and all of this stuff. And you know what? Whatever, right? Like, whatever. But I've studied relationships for over 20 years. And here's what I can tell you. All healthy relationships are built on a foundation of safety and trust. Okay, so if a husband and wife are to succeed in their marriage, they both have to feel safe with each other and they both have to feel that each other are worthy of their trust. Like they have to feel safe and they have to feel that that other person is trustworthy. Okay, so for you, if you want your relationship to thrive, like your boyfriend needs to think that you're safe. Your wife needs to feel that you are worthy of her trust. Okay. Right. So there's the foundation. All relationships, every single one, and especially romantic relationships, especially a relationship as crucial and as critical as a marriage, right? If you are engaged to be married, if you're pretty serious about this and you see that this is moving in that direction, all of those relationships are built on a foundation of safety and trust. So here's what happens. If you publicly embarrass and shame your significant other, you stop being a safe person. You just stop. You stop being a person worthy of your boyfriend's trust. You stop being a person worthy of your husband's trust. You stop being worthy of your wife's trust. Okay. Even if you were just joking, even if you don't think it was a big deal, right? Even if you think you were just having fun. And then here's where it gets worse. Here's where it gets worse. When you publicly shame your husband, we'll just use husband in this example, on a forum that allows other people to embarrass him, to shame him, to ridicule his inability to clean up ketchup from a counter, you opened this person that you love. Okay. So listen to what I'm saying. You open this person that you love, that you care about, that you say is really important to you. You open that person up to be embarrassed and humiliated on a public scale or on a massive scale, depending on how many people watch the video and where it is shared and what happens to this. I can tell you this. If my wife posted a video of me looking like a complete idiot that was viewed by 35 million people, I'd be ticked off. I'd be hurt. I'd be devastated. I'd be humiliated. And I have to believe that if I posted a video of her, right, looking like a fool to 35 million people, I'd be sleeping on the couch for years. Okay. Like for years at best. Okay. Now, maybe you're thinking, Rommel, you don't understand. Like, my husband is weaponizing his incompetence and I'm tired of it. Or the reason I posted a video like that is I feel like I married a man child and it's time that I did something about it. And I get it. I get it. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit later on in this episode. But the problem is this: if you are upset that this person that you love is acting like a child, you won't get him to change by acting like a child yourself. Okay, it's just not going to happen. And I'm sorry, publicly shaming and embarrassing someone you love is childish and immature. I don't care if it's trending. I don't care if it's what all the cool people are doing on social media. Like, people were also eating clothes detergent on social media. Remember when that was trending? Okay. Can we all agree that those were bad ideas too, right? That was not a wise thing to do. Look, if you've got an issue with your significant other, if there's something in your relationship that's been bothering you, okay, whatever that is, maybe it is something like he doesn't help out with the chores, or he doesn't know how to wash the dishes, or she doesn't know how to, fold my laundry, or whatever it is you've got. Okay. And if it's bothering you, it's eating at you, it is taking away your joy, it is eroding at your ability to have this relationship that you love, then absolutely you got to do something about it. You should do something about it. You should have that conversation. You should have that discussion. You should bring it up, but you'll want to do it in a way that will actually help you experience the solutions you seek instead of making things worse. Okay, so do you hear what I'm saying? I am not saying that if there's some issue in the relationship that you don't handle it, you don't talk about it, you don't mention it because he's too sensitive, or because his ego is out of control, or because she's not going to listen to you. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. You got to do something about it. You should at least have that conversation if it's bothering you enough to do something about it. What I am saying, though, is when you choose to do something about it, instead of doing something about it that could potentially make it worse, why not? Why not do it in a way that's actually going to help you discover the solutions that you seek? So let's stop the cycle. Okay. Let's stop the negative cycle here. If you want to trigger positive changes in your relationship, instead of dumping a bunch of ketchup on your counter to test your spouse, okay, I'm going to share with you what I'd recommend you do instead. And we're going to do that after the coffee break. It is indeed time for a coffee break. Share along with me in the comments. Let me know what you are drinking along today as you listen or watch this episode. And as a reminder, today's coffee break is brought to you by my free Respark Your Relationship guide. If you've been dumping a bunch of ketchup on your kitchen counter trying to figure out how to bring more spark into your relationship, this guide is for you. It's a free guide. It will give you 5 powerful things you can apply immediately into your relationship to bring back some of that spark and fire in your relationship. And the good news is you don't have to waste ketchup. with this guide. Check the show notes to find out how to download the guide. So today we got a little bit of change up during our coffee break. I'm not actually drinking coffee today. I saw this at the store when I was at the when I was doing some grocery shopping, and it's a cherry cola from Olipop. Hopefully, I said that right. And had a lot of coffee today already. And so for this episode, we're going with a cherry cola, which is a kind of like a kombucha-y type of drink, I think. So I'm just going to read from this. By the way, Olipop did not sponsor this video. I had to pay for this can of fancy cherry cola at the store. And so it says Olipop combines the classic soda you know and love with prebiotics, plant fiber, and botanicals to support your microbiome and digestive health. Finally, a refreshing soda that's actually good for you. Imagine your favorite cherry cola. Now imagine if made with real spices, tart cherry juice, and bursting with authentic cola's crave-worthy collision of sweet and dark flavors. That's what you're holding in your hands. A better for you remix of a traditionally artificial soda, ready for you to take the next step. So let's try this. I have never tried this before. I do like cola. What's interesting is on my journey here, I used to be like a Coke Zero fiend, and I would drink a lot of that. And in the last couple of years, I've enjoyed Coke Zero less and less and less. Let's see if we can capture that. Yes. Let's see, guys. Let's see. Oh man, that's good. Yeah, that's real good. That is a solid. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, I like that. That's like a solid 8 to me. Right there. The Olipop Cherry Cola, guys. There you go. If you try this one, let me know in the if you tried this, let me know in comments, or if you do end up trying it, let me know what you think of it. Uh, Comment on this or shoot me a DM. Let me know. Yeah, I like that. That is really good. That is really good. Good job, Olipop. Good job. All right. So now that I have my brand new cherry cola that I've discovered, hey, let's dive back into the conversation about the ketchup challenge. And I know, as I'm reflecting on the first half of the show, I'm going to say I probably sound like a curmudgeon, and that's fine. But I do want to tell you this, right? If you are doing this to have fun and it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, I'd caution you to consider if the idea of having fun at your spouse's expense is the kind of fun you should be having. Spoiler alert, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. You should strive to be the safest person in your spouse's world. And when I say spouse, if it that means boyfriend to you or husband or wife or fiance, right? You know what I mean? We trust that you understand that. Right? Even if your husband, right, you should strive to be the safest person in your spouse's world, even if he has no clue how to clean a counter or how to boil water. Now, by the way, I do want to say this. If for any reason you are married to someone who doesn't know how to clean a counter, doesn't know how to boil water, doesn't know how to make eggs, you have every right to feel frustrated about it, right? You absolutely, of course, right? Because they're your feelings on that. But your frustrations don't make embarrassing your husband or your wife on social media for the world to see the right thing to do. You see what I'm saying? So being frustrated with this thing that your husband does or doesn't do, totally get it. Being frustrated with that thing that your wife says when you're around the family, totally get it. Okay. But posting it on social media for everyone to see and publicly shaming and embarrassing your significant other, not a cool thing to do. Not a cool thing to do. So if you've got some legitimate concerns with your spouse that you want to bring it up face to face, openly, honestly, authentically, as freaking adults. Okay. As adults, as adults. right? Don't film it privately that he doesn't know that you're doing that or she doesn't know you're doing it and then post it on social media and then have your spouse figure out, oh, I didn't know you were upset with that thing. Okay, like don't like do it as adults. And by the way, if you don't think that that conversation's going to go well, so maybe the reason that you decided you're going to do one of these challenges or you're going to do it this way, besides the fact that you think it's fun and it'll be fine, okay, is maybe internally you're going, but Rommel, you don't understand. If I actually tell him that it really bothers me that he doesn't know how to clean up in the kitchen, that conversation's not going to go well. Then here's what I want you to do. Like, here's what I would recommend that you do. Talk to a wise person who's been married a few years. Okay. So this is one of those times, maybe not an unmarried person or not someone who's not had any kind of successful long-term relationship. You know what I'm talking about? Like, go find who's that wise person. Your parents, maybe a grandparent, an aunt, a wise sage, a wise mentor. Talk to a wise person that's been married for a few years, that has been through the mountains and the valleys of relationships, and get some input on how to address that issue assertively and with grace. Okay, like, so again, this is not a don't do anything about it. This is, if you're going to do something about it, just make sure that you're doing it in a way that actually helps you get the results that you need. And if you've joined our Marriages That Connect program, right, you know, we've devoted an entire step to how to deal with difficult conversations, how to have these, how to deal with conflict and how to deal when expectations aren't met. Like we know this is a big deal. And I know that there's so much more than I can mention in a podcast episode. Right. Like we devoted an entire step and an entire bonus towards helping couples have difficult conversations. So I totally understand that, right? That there's so much more I would love to share with you. But for the context of our time here, what I would say is think of how you can say what you need to say in a way that helps your partner receive it, right? So that you don't become the problem, so that the problem is the problem, and that your husband, your fiance is willing to talk to you about it so that you can get the results that you desire. By the way, if you are married and if you find that communication is an issue and you want a faith-based approach to how to improve the quality of connection and communication and intimacy in your marriage, you'll definitely want to check out our Marriages That Connect program when the doors are open. It's our really powerful program that Casey and I created to help couples improve the quality of their communication. So you definitely should check that out when doors are open. So what I want to mention is this, is if you feel the need to test your spouse with one of these social media tests, if I were you, I'd ask myself, what's going on internally that's making me want to do these external tests to see if our love is really strong, solid, and secure. Right? Because there's all these kind of tests. There's the orange peel test. I'm going to ask my spouse to peel an orange, and if he says he's happy to do it, then that means that our relationship is strong. Or I'm going to do the bird watching test, and I'm going to ask my fiance to go look at that bird. And if he decides that he wants to look at this bird, then it means he really loves me and we're really on strong and secure ground. Okay. So if the reason you're doing the test is that you really do kind of want some confirmation, you want some assurance that your relationship is on solid ground, that he's really a good guy or that she's really the right one for you, let me just give you some advice from someone who has been through 18 years of marriage now, who was married before, been through a divorce, an almost divorce, and who studied relationships for 20 years. You may need to process those questions, those doubts, those fears, again, with a wise friend. And like I mentioned earlier, preferably one who has walked the road with a lot of wisdom and experience. And if you find as you process this and you go on this journey about really thinking about your relationship, if you're feeling insecure, about the relationship, then it's probably time to have an honest, open, authentic, and loving conversation with your husband, right? With your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, okay, with your wife. Now, man, I want to speak to you now, right? If you have been listening to this and you have been secretly wondering if your wife might be the one testing you on your ability to clean the metaphorical kitchen counter or whatever it is. Okay. Because you know on the inside that you're clueless and helpless around this stuff. And if you start doing something and you do it poorly with the secret hope that your wife is going to come and rescue you, or if you've got to do that thing and you've been putting off doing that thing because you know you don't really know how to do that thing. And so you slow roll it, hoping that your girlfriend's going to rise to the occasion and help you be less clueless and less helpless. Here's my advice to you: stop being clueless and helpless and learn how to do this kind of stuff. Learn how to do stuff like learn how to live, learn how to navigate in the world. Men, you were made to come through, right? God created you to come through, to rise to the occasion. So if there are these things in your life where you feel like a 5-year-old kid because you never were taught how to do it and you didn't know how to do it and it feels clumsy and awkward and weird. I totally get it. I totally get it. But instead of waiting for your mom to rescue you, instead of waiting for your wife to rescue you, instead of waiting for your kid to rescue you because you don't know how to do that, learn how to do that thing. Okay. Learn how to rise to the occasion. And if you're unsure on what to do to tackle it, I get it. There are so many areas in my life where I feel so ill-equipped and totally get it. And I'm still learning how to, walk in those areas. Here's what I'm going to recommend for you. Ask for help. Right? Ask for help. Stop waiting for your wife to rescue you and clean the counter. Stop waiting for your wife to show you how to do that thing and start that process of doing it yourself. So ask her, hey, I'd love to really learn how to do this. What should I do? Maybe you've never done laundry before. Ask her. Ask your grandmother, ask your aunt, ask your dad, ask your older brother. How do I do laundry? You know, how do you sort laundry? What do I do here? Right? If there's a thing in your life that you're not sure of, ask someone for advice, someone who can help you, and then take the risk and do it. Right? Give yourself permission to be ugly and to be awkward and to be weird. Give your wife permission to roll her eyes as you struggle with this stuff. Okay. Don't let your ego take you out when you're learning this. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel, you're going to feel like a 9-year-old kid. That's normal. It's part of the process. You got to press through that. And you can because you were made for this. You were made to rise to the occasion. Don't let your ego take you out of moving into these areas where you feel fear. And don't use not knowing as an excuse for not doing. Okay, let me say that again. Don't use not knowing as an excuse for not doing. And then keep doing it again and again, showing up again and again. And when you do it wrong, ask for help. If you're doing it weird, ask for advice. Reach out to someone, try it, do it, rise up to the occasion. Be a cowboy up, right? Whatever phrases we've got to say that. But what I can say this for men is the people in your life would love nothing more than for you to rise up to the occasion as a man, as a man. And I know that you have the ability to do that. It's not always going to feel comfortable or fun at first. Trust me. I know. But man, when you start to rise up and you start to do that, you start to move towards your fears, you start to move towards those things that you've avoided, and you start to gain success outside of work or outside of the hobbies that you're already good at. When you start to do that, it feels good. It feels good. And by the way, it also improves the quality of your relationship as well. Okay, so did we cover that all? We talked to you, women, if you are tempted to shame your guy, right, through the ketchup challenge. We talked to you. And by the way, that applies to you as well, men. If you're tempted to shame your wife and your fiance, your spouse through some kind of social media challenge as well, this is not mutually exclusive to men or women. We also did talk to the men. By any chance, if this is a challenge for you and you realize that you might be someone that would be starring on one of these challenge videos because you don't know how to do stuff, we talked to you about learn how to do some stuff, man. So here's some closing thoughts as we wrap up this week's episode. The next time you are tempted to dump ketchup on the counter, or the next time that you ask your spouse to peel an orange for you, in an effort to determine if your relationship is truly on solid ground, here's my recommendation. Save the ketchup for the fries because ketchup is delicious. Peel the orange yourself and share it with your loved one. Then, if you actually do have some doubts, whether they're little doubts or big doubts about your relationship, and you're feeling it and you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling challenged, and you're starting to feel it affecting how you feel about the relationship and about your husband, about your wife, take that as a sign that it's time to do something productive, something healthy, and something meaningful about it. Friends, I trust that you found something valuable in this episode today. Here's what I would love to know. I would love to know what most resonated with you. What did you find most helpful from our time together today? If you're watching this on YouTube, drop it in the comments. If you're listening to this, shoot me a DM. Let me know what you found valuable. And as always, before we go, I'd love to say a blessing over you. If you share my faith, amen. And if you don't share my faith, I certainly hope that you receive this as a blessing. My friends, may the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. This is the Rommel Anacan Show, and we'll see you next time. If this episode has resonated with you, would you please like and subscribe, comment, and even share it with a friend? And thank you as always for supporting the show.